Hi guys, we're going to do the Unit 4 mid-unit assessment video, and we're going to look at the study guide. We're looking at question 1, which choice is y not a function of x? So when we're talking about y being a function of x, we want all the x's to have unique, which means their very own function or their own value that's different. So in this case, the x's repeat. You do not want the x's to repeat. And if they do repeat, you want them to have the exact same y value. In this case, this one is not a function. I know this is not going to be a function because it's not going to pass the vertical line test. 0, 3, if I'm graphing it, 0, 3 is going to go here, 0, 5 is going to go here, and 0, 8 is going to go there. It's not going to pass the vertical line test. All right, if I have this one, all my x's are different, and it doesn't matter what the y's are. I just care that all my x's are different. So when I'm graphing, same idea, 0, 3 is here. Then I have 5, 0, and then I have 8, 0. So this will pass the vertical line test because as I move my hand from left to right, I'm not going to hit more than one dot at a time. So this one would be a function. All right, which choice is y a linear function of x? So when you're talking about linear functions, we talked about things that couldn't happen, and that was about a week and a half ago. So you can't have exponents. And we talked about what would happen. We talked about how it would make a parabola, and we talked about how it would make like a V shape. We looked at the kind of the different shapes. We also talked about how you couldn't divide by x. So you couldn't have a fraction and divide by x. Those were things that could not happen if it was going to be a linear function. So which choice is a linear function? Well, this is an exponent, so that's out. Exponent, that's out. And this, we're dividing by x. So the only correct option is this one. So when we're talking about the form, you want your form as y equals mx plus b. So you can add or subtract anything, and you can have a slope. You just don't want it to be dividing by that x. All right, let's talk about the slope of the line. Remember, we're always going to do rise over run. So I've got a point here, and I've got a point here. So I'm going to do my rise over my run. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. So 3 over 2. And this is a positive line, so it's 3 over 2. What is the slope of the line? So again, I'm going to do my rise over run. So I'm looking for that point. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2. So I've got 7 over 2, and this is a negative slope because it's higher on the left than it is on the right. And it goes down, it decreases from the left to the right. So it's negative 7/2. What is the slope of the line? So I'm going to find my point. Look for another one. Rise, run, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And again, it decreases because it's going down from left to right. So it's going to be negative 4/5. What is the slope of the line? So even though this line kind of looks funny, and it's going to look funny on your test tomorrow, that's okay. It's okay if the line looks funny. We can still find the slope. We just have to find 2 points in our crosshair, because that's all slope is the steepness of the line. So rise is 2, and our run is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 2/5. Okay, 2/5 is our line, or is our slope of our line. Which equation is non-linear? So let's go over those things again that makes an equation linear or non-linear. Okay, so if it's got an exponent, or we're dividing by x. Remember, your exponents are like a little 2, a little 3, a little 4. Any of those exponents, that's going to create that parabola shape, or it's going to create a V, your absolute value lines. It's going to create all sorts of weirdo little shapes. Okay? So let's take a look at this. Well, I know I can't choose this one. And it's asking which one is non-linear. So if I'm choosing the one that's non-linear, these are all examples of non-linear equations. All right, is y a non-linear function of x? Well, I know when I see a table, I'm going to have to take these first 2 rows and think about y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. So let's look at that. So we've got negative 2.5 minus negative 5.5. And then we've got negative 1 minus negative 3. So we're going to look at this and see what happens. So we've got to keep, change, because I don't have a fancy calculator in front of me. So that's going to be, what, 3? And then keep, change. That's going to be 2. 3/2. So we've got 3/2. Then we can think about, okay, is that the change that's going to continue to occur? So is that the change all the way across? So if I divide y by x all the way across, does that work? So when I do 6.5 divided by 5, do I get 3/2 or 1.5? And I do. So this one is a linear function. So when I take that same change every time, when I do y divided by x, if every time I get the same answer, it's a linear function. If I don't get the same answer, it's a non-linear function. Which choices are linear and which choices are non-linear? Well, I know this one has an exponent, so that's a non-linear. This one is y equals mx plus b. So this is a linear function. This one, x is in the numerator. It's on top, so this is a linear function. This one is written as y equals mx plus b. So this is a linear function. So in this particular question, you're actually going to do a drag and drop and have to drag and drop your questions. What is the slope of a line that passes through the points? And I've listed them here. So we did this on Monday. y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. So that would be 4 minus 3 and then -5 minus -4. So 4 minus 3 is 1, and then, what, -1? So your slope would be -1, because 1 divided by -1 is -1. So your line would actually go this way. All right, what is the slope of the table? Again, you're going to pick any 2 rows. I always pick my top 2 rows unless they're fractions, because God knows if we can avoid fractions, let's avoid them, unless you're really comfortable with fractions. Let's do our y. Let's try again. y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. So we've got 3 minus 5 divided by 2 minus 1. So 3 plus a -5 equals -2, and 2 minus 1 is 1. So our slope is -2. All right, what is the equation of the function shown in the graph? Well, tomorrow you're going to be given 4 equations, right? So you're going to be able to choose from those 4 equations. So I want you to make sure that you're using process of elimination. Now, if you're in Miss Kinney's class or Miss Bryant's class, they may eliminate this question just because they may not have gotten to this question yet. But I know in my class we got here. So I want to make sure that if you're doing the study guide and your teacher eliminated this question, just know that that's okay. You're going to get to it after the test. They may have substituted a question in here. Okay, so I know that this is a positive slope line, right? So I'm going to eliminate the 2 negative slopes that are here. So I know that I have just these 2 left, and they're both positive. So I have 3 and 1/3. So I'm going to count my rise and my run. So my rise is 1, my run is 3. So that's 1/3. So I know my equation has to be here, because my equation is always y equals mx plus b. So my slope is right here. All right, again, if you're in Miss Kinney's class or Miss Bryant's class, your teacher may have eliminated this question, and that's totally okay. They may not have gotten to this question yet, and that's fine. My class didn't get to some of the things they did. We kind of got mixed up, and that's totally fine. They may substitute something here. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at the line. We're going to eliminate the 2 negative slopes because this is a positive slope. We also are going to look at our y-intercept. So this is 1, 2. We're going to look at our 2 y-intercepts. It's positive 2, right? Then we're going to look at our rise and our run. Rise and run. 1, 2, 3, 1. So that's 3/1. So our slope is 3. So that's got to be this one. All right, what is the slope of this table? So this question is actually going to ask you to compare a graph and a table, and it's going to ask you which graph has the same slope as the table. So you're going to have to figure out which table has the same graph, has the same slope as the graph. So again, you're going to do y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. So you're going to do 7 minus 10 divided by -6 minus -8. So plus a negative. So that's going to be -3 divided by, keep change, 2. So I got -3/2 as my slope. Which graphs show functions? So let's talk about our vertical line test. So our vertical line test means when I bring my hand across the graph from left to right, my hand only touches the graph in one place. So I'm going to take my drawing tool out. I'm going to get my ruler. So when I come across with my ruler, you can see that the graph is touched here and here. So this is not a function. You can see as I take the ruler across, I am not able to touch that ruler against the graph anywhere but in one place. So that represents a function. Let's take a look here. I want to make sure it's perfectly 90 degrees. See, this fails the vertical line test because I can touch it in multiple places. This is not a function. Fails the vertical line test. This one, on the other hand, as I go across, it may have a zero slope, but it passes the vertical line test, so it is a function. All right, so this is the study guide. If you have any questions, make sure you ask me on Wednesday morning. I'll be glad to help you with anything that you still don't understand. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.